Okay, welcome. This is Andy Lee Graham, and I'm in San Pedro, La Laguna, Lake Atalan, Guatemala. And I'm in a place called Solar Pools, and I'm trying to make sure that everybody realizes there's a pool table here. They have solar pools where it's kind of like a sauna, but they also have a uh, a pool table, which is highly unusual on Lake Atalan. I don't know of any other pool table on this lake. Um, but today I'm going to talk about Henry David Thoreau. And I had a couple people that friends of mine that talked about. They did a search and they instantly found that, and there's found that he's a loser. Okay, and there's like unbelievable. I collected almost 8 different videos where they're identifying Henry David Thoreau or saying to be a loser. Okay, which is kind of ironic to me. But it's an interesting world we live in. If you do a search for Andy Lee Graham, you'll find a bunch of losers have got higher. They get in the rank almost as high as me. Okay, and it's amazing if you do a search for a hobo traveler or thing. And this is again, this is kind of like fake news. What's happening is they try to find the most controversial thing about me and then put it up, okay? Or anybody that's complaining about me and put it up because anger and hate sell more than things. But that's the same thing. There's people have made really elaborate videos on the idea that they're calling Henry David Thoreau a loser because he decided that the less work you do for society, the better it is for society. I think he wrote 2 books. Then they took his journals and they made them into some books, and then they've taken you can like I just watched a he gave 3 or 4 or 5 different lectures, one on walking, which is just spectacular. But his famous book is Walden, and then the essay on civil disobedience, which is part of Walden, and the civil disobedience influenced Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King. So these um, Henry David Thoreau Walden is one of the most considered a classic, American classic, one of the books that you would be assigned to read often for government because of the civil disobedience, or political science because of and then because of civil disobedience is part of the book Walden. Usually you have Walden and the essay on civil disobedience together, and they're kind of different, but they're also the same because the reason why they're calling Henry David Thoreau is he he had like a 1 day work uh, ethic. He wanted to work 1 day a week, or he said he lived for 5 years where he only worked 6 weeks a year, and that is a parallel universe to me. I work about for the last 25 years. I've worked about oh maybe 2 to 3 hours. It's hard to say at work because I'm never paying attention to it, but I work about 2 hours a day, which would be say 7 days a week, or 14 hours a week, which is um, it's not even work because I'm really enjoying it's kind of a combination of surfing on the internet, collecting data, and writing at the same time. So it's not just but that's the parallel between me and Henry David Thoreau because he went to the Walden Pond to say that if he lived only by buying or having what is necessary in life, that he wouldn't need to work. Okay, and it's very true. Okay, if you only have what you need, like what do I, Andy Graham, need? I only need technically like a backpack and I don't know 5 pairs of underwear, 5 pairs of socks, a pair of shoes, 5 shirts, and 2 pairs of pants, and maybe 4 shorts. That's about it. And that's and I could travel the world with just those things. Probably a toothbrush, right? But I have more than that because there's sort of perceived needs and real needs. But when a person feels that they need a house, that is not true. Okay, you need some sort of dwelling. Okay, and so because he's an, they have a thing of self-reliance or nonconformity. Um, he's a nonconformist, like an iconoclast. He's a person that says that the things that the normal people do, he doesn't believe you should have to do. And this is an interesting world because what's interesting, there's some elaborate videos made about him, incredibly well made, taking, switching between screens, but they use clickbait, calling him a loser. Henry David Thoreau, the loser, or something, or be a loser, which is clickbait. Okay, which is I'm opposed to that because I realized that I kind of used that because I made a question whether he's a wimp, and I changed that because I really was, because he doesn't. I consider him a little bit of a wimp in the fact that he doesn't go out and learn how to thrive in around people. The more I read this Laura Laura Dawson Wall's book Alive, I realized that he gave a lot of lectures, and he had a lot of friends that he basically ran around with. But he ran around with kind of a Harvard crowd, Concord, Massachusetts crowd. But why did they call him a loser? They call him a loser because he refused to work um, at a traditional job. He refused to be a wage slave. And so, are you going to call somebody a wage slave that doesn't buy a house, that doesn't buy a car, that doesn't work? I mean, I'm definitely would be considered a loser in people's mind because, I mean, some people really denigrate me because I don't have a house, I don't have a car. They go, "What's wrong with you?" And I go, "What's wrong with me?" I said, "I want to say, what's wrong with you?" I said, "I've been traveling the world, went to 114 countries, been around, to one of the greatest lives on the planet, and all you do is go work 40 hours a week." And that is the same situation that Henry David Thoreau was in. He is called a loser because he went to the woods and lived there he went to Walden Pond, lived in a little one-room house for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. Okay. And he actually left on July 4th, which was like he's claiming his independence from the work life. But he was a kind of a gig worker, a contractor. He did a lot of surveying, and he kind of, in a way, insults the world because he doesn't. He did in his book. He talks about working on his house, and a lot of people consider anybody that does manual labor a loser. Okay, so a lot of these kind of heavy duty video makers, I was really enjoying their videos because they did a very good job of portraying his life. But they really didn't buy into what he said. So he even says this in Laura. If you really want to do a deep dive into Henry David Thoreau, reading the book A Life by Laura Dawson Walls is enlightening because she explains all the motivations behind what he was doing. And he was not a loser. He was a person that, like one of his favorite quotes is, "Why are we in such desperate haste to succeed in desperate enterprises?" I'm not saying it right, but if man does not keep pace with his companion, maybe it's because he hears the sound of a different drummer drumming. And this is one of his quotes, and a very popular one. But he was really saying, "Leave me alone. Let me do what I want to do." And he considered his work um, walking. And he had a big camaraderie with kind of an intimate transcendental relationship with nature. And in a way, the transcendentalists, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Margaret Fuller, I don't know if Ralph, I mean, but there was a group of these people that kind of looked at transcendental as kind of the idea that we intuitively know what is right and wrong. And in a way, that is what nature does. Nature tells you, nature isn't is a very consistent, congruent way of looking at the world. It's amazing how nature is natural and easy and whatever. If you want to do something that's against nature, like eat packaged goods, it's bad for you. So anything that is totally natural, like eating an apple or piece of beef or chicken or whatever, anything that hasn't been processed is good. Is natural, therefore it's good. It's a real easy thing to understand if you say I want to have only natural. I'm laughing at. There was a Three Rivers Food Co-op in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and then there was like here on San Pedro, we got this total package store full of total package, almost everything in the store, and in is a health food store. There's one in Sandra's is really big at Panachel, and they're always packaged, which is the opposite of really being natural, right? It's like go organic, and we're going to put it in a natural, put it in a store, and put it in packaging. The minute, the minute that I don't know, it doesn't come straight from the field. I really, I really enjoy the things that, like I'll give an example. Here is hibiscus, and I'm drinking hibiscus tea, which is ayamaica in Spanish, and it's they just pluck it, I think, put it in a bag, and they serve it up in Guatemala. I also have some raw chocolate that they made that I'll eat tomorrow, but I eat about a half of one of these today. Every day is really not very good. Okay, but if chocolate tastes good, you're not eating natural chocolate. The process is when they add things to preservative, right? But Google really goes after anybody that's a nonconformist that doesn't support their Google. All the websites go against anybody, Disney, anybody that disagrees with them. So even in a way, Fox News goes against anybody that's not Trump. CNN goes across anybody that's not um, Biden, and they each take their tribal ways of dealing with things, right? But if you're a nonconformist, what you're doing is something that's not mainstream, and you're not going to be able to sell advertisement. I'm not getting advertisement put on my channel because I don't say the right thing. I don't encourage people to go buy motorcycles. I don't encourage them to go buy cameras or houses or anything like that. I try to encourage you to be free. I want you to not have a car, not have a house, and I want you to be free. And this is the same thing that Henry David Thoreau did. He went to the woods. He walked all the time. He didn't have a car. He didn't buy a house. He even had a specially designed backpack. And I'm laughing when I read that. And, he had a custom built backpack. I know somebody that did the same thing about 10 times. Um, but people who won't keep their mouth shut are nonconformists. They say what they feel and think, and they have a belief in telling the truth. So telling the truth is a way to think. Pandering to the audience is what most videos do. I will not watch travel videos. They are horribly lies. I don't know. Maybe Fred Ruddy. He's one of the guy right now. He's in Colombia, I think. I'm going to do an interview soon. He's the only guy I've ever seen that would actually tell the truth. Now, he does a lot of work, and he does some editing, and he tries to do informative travel skill videos. Anybody that does where they switch back and forth, that's just meant to be a lie. Okay, but in a way, Henry David Thoreau, and this is why I'm making this video, is because everybody wants to call him a loser, and there's probably 15 videos made with the title "A Loser," and they coordinate it with Henry David Thoreau. And he's not a loser. If you go do what you want to do, that's a winner. Okay. If you do what you don't want to do and you have to go to work every day, that's a loser. Okay. If you're forced to go to work every day because you have no choice, that's not winning the game. That's losing the game. But a loser is a person that does it is when they're doing research on the internet, they understand how to get past the fake news and all these clickbaits. If you click on clickbait, in a way, you're a loser. Okay, it's kind of interesting because the intellectual, the ability to make good decisions, and this is it just isn't working anymore with people. Uh, I'm almost stopping talking with anybody that cannot talk about reading a book or they're reading an article or they're reading something somewhere. If they can't read or they don't have a book near them or they are not in some ways doing more than just showing up and looking at YouTube channels, I'm not sure what to do. He knew what he wanted to be and he did it. That's what a winner is. But if it doesn't agree with the world, then people call you a loser. Why? Because social norms are enforced. The social norms to fit in the United States and the world is radical. Okay, how do you fit in? I had a girlfriend last year that wanted to marry me in a way, and she said, "Well, you got to go to Dallas and buy me a house." And I go, "What?" I said, "What is wrong with you? You know that I've been traveling nonstop for 25 years. You think I want to go back?" There's a lot of people that think that if I had the money, that I would go back to the United States and live. They're just absolutely insane. I am living in paradise. The reason why I'm living in paradise is because I emotionally deal with things well, and I can enjoy the thrill of studying the world. And there's people that think that if I got a big job, I would take it. I had this guy, Steve, ask me, he said, "What would you do if you got a job for offered for $200,000? I would start laughing. I said, "Can I work 1 week?" um, but a lot of these loser articles are journalism. Journalism is when somebody finds out that a topic is successful. So they got clickbait, like Henry David Thoreau, loser. Then there's spin-offs. There are like 20 spin-offs. This is journalism. It's not journalism. It's churning the same topic. And you see this everywhere right now. You know, one topic comes out. There was I don't know, earthquake in Taiwan or somewhere. And I saw the exact same picture on like 10 different news channels. Reddit, Wikipedia, and the German. It's really amazing how many people jump on topics. Okay, um, Reddit is the one of the worst. Reddit and Quora. Quora is where they supposedly answer questions. They're not answering questions. People answer questions and then they let somebody that doesn't really know the answer the question. Then they vote it up and down, and it's just total nonsense in a lot of ways. If you want to, and I was talking to Rich Gedney today, and he was saying that the AI thing, he watched something on one of the, I don't know what it was, but he watched about artificial intelligence. And what is happening right now is the misinformation is dominating the minds of people. And that's what Henry David Thoreau didn't, didn't participate in. I don't participate in it either. I do read a lot of stuff. I read I actually have 100 different news channels just to be safe. I click on like I don't know 15, 20. When I want to know something about subjects, I click on 20, 30, 40 of these different news channels, and I look at the headlines and I try to understand what's going on. And they often contradict each other, right? It's amazing. But Henry David Thoreau was a person that believed that we should all go our own way, and we should have the right to be different. If you're doing something different other than getting stoned, drunk, whatever, that there's socially acceptable and socially unacceptable. going to the woods and living in a cabin is socially acceptable, should be, but you're going to be insulted if you do it. Why are you doing it? Because you're supposed to have a house with 3 bedrooms and a car and go to work 40 hours. I had a girlfriend. This is how crazy people are. I had a girlfriend that I asked to marry me a long time ago, Yvonne. And I had a house 100% free and clear. No mortgage, right? Took me a lot of work to get to that. And she asked me, "What's your mortgage, Andy, on your house?" And I said, "I don't have a mortgage." And she literally said, "What's wrong with you?" And I started laughing. I said, "What's wrong with me? Just pretend that I'm 70 years old and I have my house free and clear. It's paid for, and I don't have a mortgage." She says, "Everybody's got a mortgage." And I said, "Yvonne, I'm really wondering about your brain right now." And a lot of people tell you what they want in life because they want to be just like everybody else. And that is why Henry David Thoreau is not a loser, because he did what he wanted to do. I do what I want to do. And if you don't like it, I don't care. Like, I'm on my channel, and I'm anybody that isn't using their real name or announcing their real name, I'm going to remove from the channel because I don't want to hear comments from people that are anonymous. I don't feel that anonymous people have any value on the planet. But that's me, right? I have a right to rule and run my world the way I want to. And that is Henry David Thoreau. He had a quote where he said, "It's beyond power, well a days, for a, for a, it's beyond the power of a well man nowadays to pick up his bed and walk." And that's what I did 25 years ago. And that's what Henry David Thoreau did when he think. It's a takeoff from a biblical thing. It's biblical, and Rich probably knows where it comes from. But it is beyond the power of a well man nowadays to walk away from idiot people. Okay? They get on. I'm always laughing when people say they got in a big argument on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. I go, okay, that's like some sort of mental masturbation, right? I mean, what's the end game? Where are you going? Did you really learn something, or did you just try to be a troll and dominate somebody? Is that the meaning of life, where you try to dominate somebody you don't know? It's amazing. Domination is a very big desire of people. Henry David Thoreau lived his life as a winner. Why? What does a winner do? A winner decides what they're going to do in life, and he does it. A lot of people don't understand quality. Quality is, they say like a hotel is low quality because it's not $100 a night hotel. A quality is when the hotel has a very, the value, the cost of the hotel is exactly or less than what the services provide. So you have a bundle of benefits. And if they're giving that, that's a high quality hotel. If you're giving great value for the money. I don't stay in $100 night hotels because they're horrible value for the money. They give me no greater pleasure. I have no greater pleasure living in a 5-star hotel than I do living in a $10 hotel. It's about the sum of the feelings that you had on that day. Okay, Henry David Thoreau defined what he wanted to do in life, and that's all he thought about. And I really would challenge all of you to go out and say, what do you want to be? What do you want to define yourself? And then go be that person. Write the story of your life, then go live it. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not? Why am I here? Because I defined the type of business I wanted to have. I had 3 other businesses before this. I was making a lot of money in the United States. And I wanted to be free, and I wanted to roam around the world, and I wanted to date Norwegian girls. I always blame my travels on this girl, Greta. I met her, she was 28 years old, I was 42. She read one of my, I don't know, Tom Clancy books, right? in English. And I'm sitting there going, any woman that can read a 800-page book in another language, I cannot read. I don't want to read a book in Spanish. But this was my jump, right? And everybody has that point where they go, my life isn't really what I want it to be. So just leave, cut loose. But it's the car, the house, the wife, the husband, the children, everything that you did that you didn't want to do. I want you to have children and family. But when you buy 2 motorcycles, a car, a truck, and 16 guns, you deserve that. You deserve to have that anchor, okay? Because you made that choice. That's the life you designed. Okay, Andy Lee Graham, I'm here and you're not. Why not?